Okay. Oh, I hit the phone right away. Everybody, it's Sue Ann Okerwald doing another Course in Miracles video. And I had a whole bunch of requests for different kinds of subject matter, even up in the workbook, different topics. And but today I think I'm just going to do some about A Course in Miracles idea of forgiveness. What is the forgiveness process? What do you do? What is forgiveness itself? And instead of like forgiveness to destroy, there is just a lot within the book about it. But for right now, I'm just going to go like really, really simple because forgiveness is actually super simple. I often will post or tell people about how forgiveness is actually remembering that nothing happened. So one place in the book, it says that you're going to forgive your brother for what he did not do. So of course that sounds ridiculous. So, I've also heard that like if we read the book as a body, as a character in the world, the book is not going to make any sense because when it says forgive the character for what he did not do, of course, you just saw him or he just punched you in the mouth or whatever, your tooth fell out, blood's running down your face. Obviously, this friend, this brother, this sister, whatever, that they did something, right? So how would you forgive and overlook that? Well, it basically comes down to the fact that in a story, all kinds of bad things happen, all kinds of good things happen, all kinds of things in the middle happen, all kind of semi-good things, semi-bad things, all kinds of things happen, right? And they have different levels of their happenings, just to keep it as if it's like super complicated and interesting. But forgiveness is really, really simple, that all of that, anything you could possibly think at all, none of it are your thoughts. None of it is the right mind. It was all completely made up by you in a very airtight system that keeps one thinking that they are in that system. So forgiveness allows you to transcend and go above the battleground, the battlefield, whatever you want to call it, and be able to be the real self that is quiet and safe. Nothing ever really happens there. It's all happening at once, actually, in a like a fullness, But there is not a bad thing that's about next to happen because there's no time or space for things to happen within. So it is very safe. It is always reliable. It's always the same. You can return to yourself at any time, and you've never not been yourself. So this is what basically forgiveness is all about, right? So I'm going to read what is forgiveness in the FIP book, which I tend to just really only use that one. I didn't even know there were other books. Those came out later. The other books were actually earlier. They were not edited. They were longer, and they actually came out later. So it's kind of weird because they came out later than what was first. This was what Helen the scribe had kind of like sanctioned through Jesus to put out, this particular version. But anyway, so what is forgiveness is on page 401 of the workbook, and I'll often quote or ask people to go over and look at that in here. Another thing that I noticed is that probably if you're listening to audio, you may not even get these in between ones. So in between the workbook lessons, there's like, what is forgiveness? There's a bunch of different ones. I can't even see if I can. Oh yeah. What am I? So there's a bunch of ones in between. So this one says basically, an unforgiving thought does many things. In its frantic action, it pursues its goal, twisting and overturning what it sees as interfering with its chosen path. Distortion is its purpose and the means by which it would accomplish it as well. It sets about in its furious attempts to smash reality without concern for anything that would appear to pose a contradiction to its point of view. So we could see that within the whole world. And sometimes you could almost see as if there's forgiveness within the world. But what people tend to do is they tend to say, okay, you really did punch me, and now I need to go to the dentist because my tooth fell out. And I'm mad at you, but I'm going to like forgive you. I'm going to like let it go somehow, but it's buried deep within me, and I still believe that it happened. I definitely believe that it happened. And so that is what unforgiveness is. And forgiveness to destroy is like, poor baby, I'm going to like let that go. But somehow, you're always remembering, and if you ever get that kind of forgiveness, you know what I'm talking about, because that person really didn't let that go. And they're harboring that, no matter how kind they may seem to be towards you later. Okay, so then it says, forgiveness, on the other hand, is still and quietly does nothing. We hate that, the doing nothing thing, right? It offends no aspect of reality, nor seeks to twist it to appearances it likes. It merely looks and waits and judges not. Of course, that's the big line here, so that people will quote, and that got underlined in my book, So when I talk about this looking, and I talk about looking a lot, in fact, that's really like all that there's left to do once you've discovered that there's no answer in the world. There's no answer to feel better. There's no achievement you can get. There's no ice cream flavor you can find. There's no type of beer. There's no relationship that will be better and make everything fantastic here, right? So once you realize that is not anything that's achievable, you let that all go. And I remember, I don't think it's in the book anywhere. It may be in like Absence from Felicity, but that Ken was talking with Helen, and the little conversation was, what do you do with a desert? It was actually Jesus like talking, and Helen said, what do you do with a desert? You don't water it, you don't put plants, you don't try to make it better, you leave. What do you do with a desert? You leave. This is a place that we made where we come. And how does that wonderful line? Where starved and thirsty creatures come to die. So Jesus in this book is not fooling around with what he's saying. He's saying, wake up, look at what this world actually is. And then when you get to the point of seeing what it actually is, you're ready to do this forgiveness. So what you do is you look. First, you're looking at what you think is out in the world. So it's like, again, someone punched you, or you got a bad email, or it's a boss, it's a spouse, it's a child, it's a parent, it's all these type of things. Generally, it's like the relationships. It could be weather that ruined your vacation. It could be, the flat tire. It could be a lot of different things. But so it seems as if it's out at the end of a projection of your mind in a physical way. So that is what we first think we're looking at. And then before you know it, you'll be realizing that it's really all occurring in your mind, like all those first workbook lessons talk about. I'm giving everything all the meaning it has for me. So it is as if like there's this movie playing, and we're watching it, and then we're making these judgments constantly in every moment about what we think we're seeing in this movie. And we have no idea that we're even a personality in the movie. We just think our eyes are seeing things, like I said. Then it reels back to the mind, and we realize, oh my gosh, in my mind is where I'm making all the decisions of the meaning of things. And those are the reactions. Those are these huge, overwhelming emotions that can come of anger, of disgust, of loathsomeness of the self-hate, hate of others, all this under the surface. Everything is actually like a murder. Everything's like a murderous thought, even though it may be something small, like, oh my God, the lead on my pencil broke again, and I've got to get up to like another room and go sharpen it. That seems like the tiniest simple thing, but if you've ever noticed that you can really be dragging and down even about such a small thing, and it's like a murderous thought. So, it's like really crazy. So you look at that and you go, oh, wow, right? So then you wait. This waiting is where you're not having more thoughts about it. Well, if I just had listened to Jesus better, and been guided, I would have known which pencil to pick that wouldn't have broke, or, something, right? And I'm talking about the simplest, stupidest little sounding thing, right? But of course we do well, maybe if I'd listened to my mother, I wouldn't have married the person that I did, or, it could be bigger things, right? Or if I, had been better to Grandpa, he wouldn't have died, in May, maybe he would have lived till August. I mean, all sorts of things we tell ourselves, right? So instead of all that, we wait in this quiet mind. We're beginning to find the quietness in our mind that is, like I said, it has no comments, it has no judgments, it has no next thing that's going to happen. It's just very, very peaceful. So, and then that's also what this judging not means, so that we're not putting extra thoughts on this. So that would be the first step. It's probably actually the second step. The first step is you have to realize that you're upset at all, and I've done videos on that, on how like we can sometimes cover up our unhappiness with lots of busy doings in the world, lots of busy relationships, lots of busy reading books and movies and going places and playing tennis and then getting a job promotion and all sorts of things that we use to calm our mind, and that we really know that we're really not at home. Although that just keeps like rearing its ugly head, or even sifts up very quietly in like a little moment of depression, even though we may be pretty good at pushing it down and staying super busy. So this that would be the first step, that you'd have to even realize that you're upset. And I also used to say that this whole book, like there's all this writing in here with Jesus trying to tell us that this world is not what we think it is, and that we are actually upset about it. I'm never upset for the reason I think. I forgot what some of those other early ones, let's see, where are they? I'm upset because I see something that's not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. Oh my God, right? Like, don't we put everything on our thoughts meaning things? Like everything we've learned through school, 2 + 2, my thoughts, they mean something. They're 4, and Ken did a great workshop and a book. Is actually from it's either a poem or a different book that he references, where it's like 2 + 2 is 5. Anyway, so I went over today, but that actually kind of hits step 1 and step 2. And then there are a couple more steps that I can do probably like tomorrow in a video. Okay, so y'all, I'll have a good evening.